What I'm going to read are mostly sonnets from a manuscript called Two Open Doors in a Field. Over a 3-year period, I drove by myself for around 15,000 miles on a loop basically between rural Nebraska and California. So that's where these poems come from. Sonnet at a McDonald's drive-through on a 14-hour drive. I cannot write about America without writing about race. Every glass of water I drink is political. What happened in geologic time once now happens in lifespans. The president misspells a word. Blank number of children die in a school. The gunman is always a man. I can't draw an accurate map of any country. My grandpa's country has now been erased by borders. I thought of him for years only as my mother's father, unrelated to me. Sometimes a glimpse spilled from her. As a child, he played in dusty streets with a ball made of rags. Driving through Oregon, listening to the radio. Watching Greek tragedies, unspeakable violence makes us feel unearthed together. In this version, a woman has been cast as the hero, whose cries are so stripping that her comrades abandon her, then realize they cannot win the war without her. In the ancient world, too, this play was performed by veterans for veterans. This violence makes us feel at home together, these miles till Bend, a needle threading blue within the tall pines, a stitched horizon. The story lost to static in the woods. The disappearing hem of sky, the first loss that caught me. It thunders, then it snows. Motel, Arizona. Beyond 2 nights in any motel seems to threaten moving on. Again, morning opens back a stiff plastic curtain to the asphalt galaxy, the glittering of a plot that swallows velocity. I walk from the edge of town to a store where vegetables shine and wince in my hands. I say something nice to the young cashier, return to the room, turn to a letter. Sometimes you just have to die about it, writes my friend. She means mourn in her broken English. Animals only pace in zoos. On TV, people are playing a game, clapping when the holes in the world are named. Parked, California. Before a child is born, an angel tells them everything, all the secrets of the universe, and then kisses them on the forehead, and they are born, and they begin to forget. This stubbornly persistent illusion, time as an arrow. You were born, goes the song, and in that, the child is there. Music can be like that, wrought, timeless. Proverbs help us to remember our grief is not unique. I eat a bag of chips, parked in a strip mall's lot, and meet the eyes of someone else, parked, eating. 3 mirrors to watch the night in. Lower your eyes. Now listen. You were born into a strange world. Driving through Texas, listening to the radio. He dies in every living room in town, sings Johnny Cash. Feels like leaving Texas takes forever. In the next town over, a cheap room is waiting on me. A sign, the natural choice is life. A small rose with thorns painted childlike beneath. I am reassured, mine is a short life. Many beautiful ideas turn out to be wrong. Humans are just waves of happenings, and the more a distance is, the more ache it has room to carry. Do you feel me? In the mid-morning fog, another sign. Abortion kills, Jesus forgives, and thus I am forgiven. What an idea. This next poem has some lines from Octavio Paz. Driving through Kansas, listening to the radio. I've only ever seen the shadow of clouds on the ocean and on the plains, as in your body spilled on my body, seen, dissolved, makes the watching real. A choir on the river sings an arrangement of amazing grace. Poultry like fall leaves sleep outside the dim light of the auction's door, and just like that, it's gone. Another town whose name I'll never try to remember. I think before you came into my mouth, you were a fever made of my watching, a cloud shape I could know but could not name, like those walls printed with ash and honey, a pattern I could track but could not touch. These next two poems are from a long series called Like Nebraska. They all start with a simile line, and they owe much to Frank Stanford and his incredible similes. And they're untitled. He drinks like the faithful, the way they fold their hands in church, like two owls roosting in an elm. Karaoke night at the Don't Care bar. A worker staggers, following the lyric to a lit up song. And outside, a stranger chews their ears off about the green desert, fields of soy and corn, and soy and corn and soy, devoid of flowers, and the bees going damn drunk with hunger. She leans into him like a stray cat against a fence. 100 species of insects, the stranger tells them, in a space where there should have been 1,000. A truck leaving backfires. Beneath the only streetlight, a possum practices its death. His hand at the small of her back, on the depthless roses painted on her old black dress. She sees like a memory, aware of itself as memory. He is dressing in the half dark like some old movie. A man in a dream of farmland, his profile plucked from switchgrass, made visible by light casting its line inwards. His pale body smelling of flight like a familiar story. An entire landscape curving to pull on a pair of boots. And this will be my last poem. It's one of the only ones I've written this year. In other news, 2020. Someone ate a bat, they say. That's how it happened. Photographs of empty rush hours, empty Vegas, empty beaches. Fake news of swans and dolphins in Venice canals. True news of longhorn goats sprawling through small towns. This is not like last year, when starving polar bears reeled, ice lost, and half blind, to scavenge dustbins in a Torquemit. An article claims with so many homebound by the pandemic, scientists suddenly are better able to hear the earth. Fires pour through trees and fields and towns for days, and miles, and a boy who went back home to rescue his dog and his grandmother is found in the driver's seat of a car with the dog draped over both their bodies. Across 3 days just before last Christmas, around 4,500 flying foxes fell in a heat wave. Some we get to in time, says a volunteer rescuer. Others die in your hands. A woman rips away her shirt to wrap in linen a darkly seared koala, and TV outlets run this as good news. More shaky footage. A young man running on a shoulder near the flames, and the rabbit he catches leaping from the burning bush. Yesterday, from 6 feet away, my neighbor tells me how walking in our neighborhood, they found a pear tree and ate from it the warmest pear, they say. My skin has not been touched in 7 months. I dream that night they ask me to walk with them. Wouldn't you rather walk with me, they say, though nothing else has been offered? Heavy rain presses a flock of black-eyed Susans down and back together. Outside the frame of my bedroom window, I see the sky white behind the pines, and there is no particular end.